Today we're going to take these top 3 Pool 2 decks into some games at Infinite Rank. You're not going to want to miss this. This is going to be a lot of fun. Let's go. Hey, Milky here, back again with another video for MarvelSNAP. That's right, we're taking these Pool 2 decks, what I consider to be the top 3 Pool 2 decks. We're going to take them into some games at Infinite Rank. So the goal here is to have some fun and see if these decks might actually be able to sneak out some wins. The games are going to be pretty tough, with people having full collections in Infinite and having access to all of the cards. But I think there's some sneaky wins we can get out, and I think some of these decks are a little bit sleeper strong. So we're going to get into some games and see how we go. Okay, so first up we have the Control deck, and I think this is the strongest Pool 2 deck you can be versing at the moment, at least in my opinion. The deck's right up here, so check that out. We've got some core cards underneath it, so check them out too. This deck really revolves around disrupting what your opponent's trying to do, locking them out of certain turns, and then locking down locations as well. There's also the RNG factor of Jubilee, pulling into some really strong cards like Hulk, Chavez, or the Infinite, and that just makes it a lot of fun too. This deck does a lot of different things really well, and it's difficult for your opponent to play around the diverse number of things that this deck kind of does. Coming in at number 2, we have the Pool 2 move deck. In Pool 2, I think this is where this deck really starts to step up. I actually think Pool 2 is the strongest point in the game for move decks, and there's a couple of reasons for that. I think the new cards that you have access to for move decks make it really strong. The other reason I think move decks are really strong in Pool 2 is that because people haven't had the chance to practice against them. With moves decks really stepping up in Pool 2 and being able to do lots of different things while adding tons of power to the board, people haven't had the opportunity to play against or practice against it and understand how to counter it. Later on in the game in Pool 3, people understand much better how to play around move decks and which locations are easier to win. But in Pool 2, people are often still figuring that out, and you can get a lot of wins out there because of that. Again, the deck's up top, core cards on the side, check them out and see how you go. Coming in at number 3, we have the Apocalypse discard deck. The deck is up here. You've got the core cards right under that. This deck is super fun, especially if you love slamming big cards on the board late on in the game. For me, it is the weakest of the 3 decks, but this deck makes up for that in spades with the fun that you can have with it, so definitely worth trying out. So those are the 3 Pool 2 decks that we'll be highlighting as we play some games at Infinite Rank. If you do want a much more detailed breakdown of each of those decks, where I go through all of the cards and synergies in the decks and how to play them, click up the top here. I'll have a link to the top 3 Pool 2 decks, which I've made a video all around these decks and breaking them down. So check out that if you're looking for some more detail. All right, let's go ahead and get into the games. I hope you enjoyed. These are going to be a ton of fun. So this is the Pool 2, control deck, and we're queuing into infinite queues, which is going to be interesting for sure. But let's see how we go. So we've got Jotunheim and the Space Throne. Interesting. We could potentially do something cheeky on turn 5 with the Space Throne. I don't hate that. Let's go ahead and get Scorpion out into the unflipped location. I'm thinking Professor X could be a good hit on the Space Throne on turn 5. We just have to see what he plays. What is this? Scarlet Witch. Okay. Oscorp. Okay, so we get 3 power, which is quite nice for us. Monster Metropolis. Okay, doesn't change too much. What do I want to do here? We got a lot of ability to lock down lanes here. So I can Iceman here, which is fine. Man, our cards are lining up quite well, because we could Shang-Chi the Space Throne on the final turn if he's got something big there. We could Professor X it on turn 5. We've got some options here, which I don't hate. I could play Storm here, but I think I'm just gonna Iceman. Storm would have been a fantastic play, actually. I can make this really awkward for him. Playing a Lockjaw deck, you want to play a lot of things onto Lockjaw and try and pull out pull out some cards. I could make this awkward for him by doing this. But I feel like next turn might even just be pretty sweet locking him down. We can Jubilee here. We can also Jubilee over here, which doesn't feel too bad. Save some space over here, maybe for a Shang-Chi. All right, let's go do this. I'm slow playing this one. Slow playing this one a little bit. Oh, we get the absolute high roll on the Infinite there. So that's kind of huge. And he gets Destroyer. So Destroyer comes out for 19 power. Oof, we have a Shang-Chi for that guy. We have a Shang-Chi for that guy. Is this going to lose me the lane, is the question. Where else does he play here? So Lockjaw, he's got some big stuff in his deck. He could potentially lock down middle here, which would be very awkward. So I could flip it with Storm if I want. I can hit something from -1, giving me potentially 8 power here. I can Professor X. He might want to hold his play till the final turn. Let's try this. And it pays off. It pays off the Professor X read. So the Shang-Chi kind of brutal there. The Shang-Chi kind of brutal. And we get the retreat. We get the retreat. The Shang-Chi did get silenced out by Leech. We were going to Shang-Chi the Destroyer, but I think a good read with Professor X, knowing that Lockjaw decks have big stuff in their hands, usually on turn 6. It's probably planning on to drop it then. We got a big high roll with the Infinite over here. But yeah, all in all, pretty good game. What do we get? You get a guy snapping us straight off the bat, huh? Straight off the bat. Grand Central. No turn 1. So this is interesting. Back into it again with the pool 2 control deck here. Baxter. Okay. You want to consider what we're putting into Baxter a little more, just in case we need it later on. Okay, so the Carnage comes down. No worries there. Ninja. So Ninja is actually quite good for his deck. Because of... Ninja's quite good for his deck because of his Destroy. We could potentially just Storm here. YOLO Storm. How do Destroy decks push power? Wide. Not easily. Definitely not easily. We could Storm here. We could Storm here. Winning Baxter is going to kind of be key. So we could potentially also Storm Baxter. Which is probably a little bit funny. I think I'm going to Storm Baxter because... Just because I think it can get awkward. And it doesn't really matter if we lose it or not. It does not matter all that much if we lose Baxter. So you can make Nova awkward for them here by dropping Killmonger. We can also go for a high roll here. What do we got that we could pull? We could pull Chavez, which wouldn't be all that bad. Be quite good actually. We could also pull something like Shang-Chi, which would be kind of awkward. Let's go and see if we... Let's see if we can hit Chavez here. We have our other big cards in hand, which is a bit awkward. Okay, so he killed Mongered anyways, so wouldn't have mattered. Wouldn't have mattered to us. He had a big push with Killmonger and Demon this turn. We do get Chavez. Puts us one behind. Puts us one behind. That's a little bit unfortunate. I don't think we have a way to get power over there. So that might be a lockdown for him on that lane. Alright, what do we want to do here? We can do this. We could do this. Which makes it awkward for us. We can also do this. Which maybe is a little bit better for us. I mean, I know I'm going to flip first because I have one more power here. It's a tough turn. I do have... actually, no. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I missed that. I have Killmonger to destroy Demon. So we actually win middle location here if we play Killmonger next turn. So do I want to start splitting the difference? Let's do this. We don't get any value out of the Spider-Woman, but we make him think. At least we make him think a bit. Something big. Oh, we get the high roll again with Infinite, which was very lucky. Very lucky. And then Enchantress actually silences out his own Sarah, so we are extremely fortunate there. I think I play Killmonger, Sunspot. And I don't want to snap him because I think he's going to run. I think he's going to run if I snap back, but we essentially lock down mid here as well, which is pretty nice. Unless this is like a white tiger or something. Okay, so he ends up winning left lane, which he played into quite hard. But we do sneak out the win with this pool 2 control deck. We got a couple of we got pretty lucky there. I mean, we pulled the Infinite, which made him play Shang-Chi here into it a bit more, and his Enchantress pull from Grand Central actually silenced out his own Sarah, so that was unfortunate for him. So he definitely got lucky, but we made some decent plays here, and the Killmonger kind of cleaned up our lane in the end. So yeah, sneak out the win, another win back to back actually with this control deck. Coming back out, we've just had actually back-to-back wins with it. We've only played 2 games with it today, and we've won both at infinite rank, which is kind of wild. But it's doing well. It's kind of doing what it's supposed to do, which I love to see. You could get a super early storm out here, which could make things awkward. Awkward for them, but it could also make it really awkward for us. We might be able to jam Professor X on the super flow. This could be sneaky, actually. This could be real sneaky. We slam Professor X on the super flow on turn like ahead of time, which is really hard to like count for, hey? Like not this turn, next turn we can slam Shang-Chi down. It could be pretty spicy, actually. Does this make our next turn awkward though? If we want to Professor X, sorry, not Shang-Chi. If we want to Professor X into the super flow ahead of time, because people love to keep the super flow open most of the game, you know, until at least turn 5 or 6. If we can sneak it out early, that's a cheeky play. We could just Scorpion here. Oh, we'd have to Scorpion over here. The other play is Jubilee here, but it completely fills up this space. Neither of which is good. This is being nowhere is tough because Jubilee gets 0 value, Scorpion gets 0 value. We either Scorpion here or we Jubilee here. We have all of our big cards in our deck, so maybe we Jubilee here. 6 cards. We kind of have 3 big cards, so maybe lucky? Maybe lucky? We'll see. Hulk's a good pull. I'm happy with Hulk. And they get a White Queen, so their Collector can get bigger. Collector definitely can get bigger here, which can be a little bit scary for us, but he would have to add 5 cards to his hand, which he can do with Moon Girl quite easily. Well, Moon Girl and some other things. Do we want to shut off the Superflow here? I actually don't mind this. It's pretty cheeky. It's pretty cheeky, but we do have lots of on-reveal effects in our hand. We can just play things for power. I don't mind this. Wonder if he wants to shut off the Superflow now as well for himself. If we pull this off, this is some good forward thinking from us. It also locks him down to a single location for the final 2 turns, which could be quite nice. We get the read. We get the read on the Superflow, which is super nice. He's going to continue to get the benefit of the Superflow, which is just something you have to think about. And none of our... Okay, we get the retreat. You get a lot of retreats with this deck. It's really interesting to see because you're actually really locking your opponent out of locations. You're detracting away from what they're trying to do. You're really stopping them doing some key things that they need to do with their deck to kind of succeed. And if you can play, a bit strategically and logically with some of the locations, you can get some awesome wins like this. So for this one, we've got our pool 2 move deck. And we have the Bifrost, which is a pretty good location for what we're trying to do with moves. So want to make sure that we can try and take advantage of that as much as we can. We also have Vulture in hand, which is just very nice. You love to see that. No turn 1 play with this one. And we have Forge. So we can always Forge Vulture here. Jotunheim's something that we want to be just a bit aware of. We could Forge Vulture. It's really our only play at the moment. Cloak's a bit of a waste. We're going to have lots of movement though. With Doctor Strange as well. But I think let's go ahead and get Forge Vulture out on the board. So we might want to think about playing Doctor Strange after Vulture over into the Bifrost. I mean, it does pull things. It does pull things back into Jotunheim, but I think we're gonna have it. I think we're gonna have enough power that we're okay with that. Can also flip Jotunheim as well, which is pretty nice too. So we can do this. I like this. Next turn we can Scarlet Witch and Cloak, which is actually quite strong too. Let's go with this for now. We're going to lose our Heimdall on turn 6 because of Mindscape. We could flip Mindscape if we want. I think we just need to think about what's going to be the most beneficial thing for us to do. We could flip Mindscape or we flip Jotunheim. This guy didn't play Colossus into Jotunheim, which is interesting. So we can go Scarlet Witch. Do we think we're going to lose this game? He's going to have Destroyer. We really don't want a Destroyer here. So I think I want to do this. I think I want to hang on to the Heimdall. We probably should have played Forge over here, which would have been better for us, but it's going to pull it across. It's going to move both of these into middle. We can pull Doctor Strange back over again. We pull Vulture with Doctor Strange back over again, which can be interesting. Okay, so he's playing into the center location as well. We move into Fisk Tower, which is super awkward for us with Scarlet Witch. It's super awkward. Because we can move things out, but we can't move them back. Which is a little bit annoying. I think we want a Doctor Strange here. And I think we want a multiple man. And then I think I want to do this. Wait.
Target locked.
Oh yeah, I can't. Is there something preventing me from moving to the cloak location? Oh wait, it's this location is cloak. I see, because it's the location he stamps. So I can do this, which gives us a fair bit of power here. Also maybe move cloak over there too. And then I think we multiple man Heimdall. Multiple man Heimdall. I don't know if this is the way to do it, but I don't know if I sequenced everything correctly here, but hopefully. Okay, so he moves some things around too, which is fine. Plays Bucky in there. Okay, so 15 there. Pull. Okay. Okay. I think we slam Heimdall. It's just where do we slam Heimdall? We win this at as is with Heimdall. We add 7 to middle, and we win right. I think this is it. I don't want to snap just in case he runs, but I think this is good enough. I think this is good enough here. We move Vulture again, so Vulture goes massive here. It gets Destroyer, so he has a big push in mid, but it's not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it. The pool 2 move deck goes a little crazy, and we get out the win. It was nice. A couple of sequencing things just with me, like figuring it all out. But as I said, I'm not super experienced with move decks, but this is strong. Look at Vulture. Like Vulture is the Vulture's the carry of move decks. But yeah, awesome game. All right, so for this one, we have the Pool 2 discard deck with Apocalypse and a couple of new cards coming into the game in Pool 2. Some really cool ones, actually, that I feel make discard a bunch better. We have Swarm and Okoye I've got as a flavor pick in my deck. Just kind of to buff the deck up kind of generally. I think she does a really good job at that. I'm going to play her on turn 1, which is great because we have Elysium. So we get an extra turn of buffs out there, which is awesome. And then the other discard card that comes in Pool 2 is Morbius. And Morbius is an awesome card in discard decks because you can really, with both him and Swarm actually, you can really start to take advantage of actually discarding cards. In Pool 1, the only card that takes advantage of discarding cards is Apocalypse. But in Pool 2, you have 3 options to take advantage of that. So it's kind of huge for this deck, for sure. Okay, so we don't want to shut off the Superflow just yet. And we're going to get a lot of energy here. So we can just be we can play this really slow because we have Elysium and Superflow. Energy is just going to be insane this turn. Like he played a turn 2 Dracula. That's crazy. Okay, the Raft. We can just get the Raft if we want here. Which, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do it just because I think the Raft could potentially give us something half decent. It might not. It might backfire, but we'll see. Okay, so it was good because he kind of played after the Raft as well. So we got Giganto. So a 0 cost 14 power card. That's value. That's going to be value for trying to win Elysium. Okay, Morbius Cosmo. Interesting. So this guy's going to probably be running the upgraded version of this deck. At least that's what I'm thinking. So we got to get this out. Otherwise we get ourselves in trouble. And do we want to shut off the Superflow now? I think we do. I don't think we care about the super flow anymore because of Elysium. I think we're okay with it because we're going to be drawing one card next turn, which in every case we're going to be able to play, which is good. So I think this is definitely the play. And we do draw Lady Sif, which is super nice. And we get the retreat. So we had some really strong turns there. When you get ramp locations, like Elysium dropping the cost of cards by 1, and then you've got Superflow, there's a super rampy location, so you just get tons of energy to spend. Just don't think you have to play out everything at once early on. You have time in those games, and you can flood the board on turns, which can make it really strong. We start out with Sanctum Sanctorum. Interesting, okay. No turn 1 for us. But we got some choices on turn 2. Love to see that. I think Okoye? Okoye is going to be really strong because we haven't drawn Swarm yet. And if you can get a buff on Swarm later on, you can get some... you can potentially get 2 or more 0-cost 3-power cards, which is great to flood the board late. Probably not going to mean as much this game because Sanctorum's in the game. Well, at least in this game. But we can try it out. Okay, this is gonna be a tough game because we got very few ways. Oh, sorry, it's a 4-cost. We get a lot of power out of these usually, this is an awesome play line usually. And he's already snuck something in there, which is rough for us. We don't have a lot of ways to land anything in this. Land anything in Luke's bar. So we kind of gotta... I forgot about Nightcrawler. We do have Nightcrawler. We can save Nightcrawler for a little cheeky play, but then we also start to lose. We could discard it, so I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna get him out on the board. I'm gonna move him. I can leave him. So I can always move him into Sanctum later. I can always move into Luke's bar later. We'll see. So he's going to have a lot of power in the old mid lane because of Deadpool. We've got to try and get some power out on the board here because we're going to be running low. So I think Blade's most useful, not only because he's less power, but because he's something I can fill a turn in a little bit more quickly at 1 power. So let's go ahead and do this. This is going to be a tough game because of this massive Deadpool he's got. Is this Venom? Carnage? Okay. So he's going to have 12 power, 14 power. An awkward game. He's going to have a 14 power, 1 cost coming down this turn. So when I think about this, we have absolutely no way to get in here. We can actually win this location by 1. We can win this location by 2. We can play this and take Morbius up to 6 and play one of these, which is actually worse than just doing this. This doesn't do anything, but maybe it scares him. The Koye into sewer system's kind of killing us power-wise here. We don't have another play. We go for it. Don't have another play. That's all we're getting. Smokes us. Wait. No. Oh, he does. By one. By one. Hey, I had a ton of fun playing these games. I hope you enjoyed watching them. Pool 2 actually brings some new archetypes to the front, which is really, really exciting for Marvel Snap. I think this was a great opportunity to show how strong the Pool 2 decks can be, even later on in the game. I wouldn't advise you to run these Pool 2 decks as you're trying to climb the ladder in Pool 3, but they definitely are strong within their own right. I'd encourage you to try out some of these decks and see how they go for you. Also, let me know in the comments how they go, or other decks that you're playing that you're finding success with, or just finding a lot of fun. I'd really love to hear about it, and I love hearing from you guys in the comments. Hey, that's going to be a wrap for this one. Thanks so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Hey, subscribe to the channel, like the video, all that good stuff. And until the next one, I'll see you then.